living in Alberta, specifically Calgary area, and you live downtown in a high-rise apartment, what the fuck do you do for work? Like, I need to know because I just went apartment shopping or like renting, whatever, with my friend the other day, and the prices are absolutely insane. And I just don't understand what job people are doing as Canadians. Like, I'm 25. What job would a 25-year-old have to be living in these apartments? Because it's just insane to me. Like, $1,800 for a studio apartment downtown, minus $200 parking, minus utilities. Like, what the fuck? How are you guys living? How are you guys living? Please tell me.
Qualified to be able to rent a place. That means you had to make $9,000 a month, meaning you had to make over $90,000 a year, right? Come here. That means even if you were to make $25 an hour at your job, you still would not be able to afford to stay at a place by yourself. And people are saying, oh, we'll just get a roommate. Nobody likes roommates. And you can't even rely on the roommate to either come up with their half of the rent. And if anything, they're more of a liability. Putting their name on the lease is even more stressful. And notice how we're just talking about renting. We're not talking about getting a house because virtually that's just impossible at this point. So yes, none of this is fun. Being an adult isn't fun.
Your landlord might be doing this illegally. Hey, so we're going to increase your rent by 20%. And if you can't pay it, we're also going to need you to move out within 7 days. Okay? Thanks. No, you can't increase my rent during my lease term unless otherwise stated in my contract, to which it isn't.
Yeah, so why I go to my leasing office today to renew my lease and they was telling me how my rent is going to increase by like $600. They ain't updated not nary appliance. They ain't changed not nary window pane. Well, I sure did walk my happy ass up in there to figure out what the hell is going on because I could see if y'all maybe updated something, gave me some new shit. It's the same exact apartment I'll be living in. And y'all want like $600 more from me? I was born at night, but not last night. Y'all got me fucked up. And they're like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. We don't know how that happened. Your rent's only gonna be increasing by about $40 a month. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, because I bet if I had not came in his leasing office, y'all wasn't going to say shit. Y'all trifling and you wrong and you know it.
I would have to disagree that $2,100 a month is damn cheap. And a lot of people have commented this, but it's just not true. So I'm going to explain why. The national average salary in the United States right now is $59,000, and $59,000 after taxes, your take home every month is about $3,800. So if you are a household or a single person living off of that one salary, that rent right there is more than half of what you're making. And that's just the average. So of course there's going to be people that are well below the average who cannot even afford a $2,100 rent that you guys are saying is cheap. Now, I'm not ungrateful at all. I'm blessed that we are able to afford this $2,100 of rent, which we got at this rate because we moved during COVID, during the height in 2020. We moved there in 2020 during the height of COVID, and they were having a really good deal because they were desperate to get people in. Now, unfortunately, that rent is about $3,000, but why are we normalizing? Why are we normalizing $2,100 a month of rent as being cheap when the majority of people in the United States don't even make enough to afford this type of rent? So many people have roommates. So many people who are families and have multiple children are living in an apartment instead of living in a house, which is what we are saving for. We're never going to own this apartment. We're all just throwing our money away renting instead of buying. We have no buying power right now as millennials and as Gen Zers. Why aren't we able to afford to buy things like the generations before us did? How come we're the ones that are screwed? I was born and raised in California. It's not going to be possible for me to buy a home here because the average price of houses here, and these are old houses, like 1950s houses, is about $700,000. I thought I made decent money. Last year was the most I ever made, right? I thought that we would be able to afford a house. We're not going to be able to afford a house that's almost $1 million. It's just not going to happen. So I understand people saying $2,100 is cheap. It's not cheap. It's cheaper than other places, but we are all all of us are being overcharged for rent, and these houses are insanely expensive, and there's like no chance of most people ever even being able to afford to buy a house in their lifetime. That's sad.
Our lease is up at the end of this month, and we just found out that our rent is going up by $250 per month. Let's talk about it. Okay, so here are the options. So obviously we can just stay, we can take the renewal, stay where we are. Now, technically we can afford it, but things are tighter financially for us right now. And I don't feel like super comfortable with the increase. I know that it would put us in maybe a less than ideal financial spot, not like a dangerous spot, but just like an uncomfortable spot. The reason for that is that my partner is currently looking for a new job. They're not getting enough hours at their job. And so they're in the middle of that job search. So they're making less money than usual. And I'm also making less money than usual because I've essentially had to put my business on hold because of my book. So I'm writing a book right now. Well, it's written, but I'm editing it, I'm promoting it, it's coming out in January. So that is taking like so much of my time and energy, and it's important. Like I want to focus my time and energy on that. But because of that, I've had to take a step back from my business. So a lot of my income streams are just not happening right now. So we're both making less money. So this increase is like, it's a lot. And it doesn't feel super great. Okay, now option B is that we don't take the lease renewal and we just move to a new place. The issue is that our lease expires at the end of this month. So basically we'd have to find a place for October 1st and move in by October 1st, which is an insane turnaround. And I do not think that I can mentally handle a move right now. Like I am in a very precarious mental state right now. I am very burnt out. I'm very stressed. I'm overwhelmed. There's just a lot going on. There's a lot on my plate right now. And I don't know if I could handle it. I also know that like I would be paying for the majority of the moving costs because my partner just isn't, like I said, they're looking for a job. They're not in a place to financially pay for those things. So that would be like an added, financial stress. And then it would also just it'd be really hard to find a place and then move in that time. Also the rental market here is crazy. I know that it's very competitive and people are having a hard time finding a place. So there is a potential that we wouldn't find a place in time. And then I don't know where we would go or what would happen. Okay, another option is that we try to find a roommate. We do have another bedroom in the basement that's like our guest bedroom. There is a bathroom down there and everything, so we could rent out another bedroom or like split it like three-way roommate situation where like, me and my partner pay 2/3 and they pay 1/3 or something like that, which would obviously help with the financial burden a lot. But I think people know, like once you've gone from living with a roommate to not living with a roommate, it's like hard to go back. But I mean, not that I would let that stop us. Like I definitely would be open to having a roommate, but I think it's just about like finding the right person that's going to, fit with us and like not be super disturbing to our lifestyle because I work from home. So it has to be the right fit. And the last kind of, I guess, option is that I just start making way more money to compensate for the difference. And I could revitalize some of my business income streams to try to do that. The only issue with that is that it is taking away from the work that I'm putting towards the book. And the book has been what I've been working towards for the last 2+ years. And to kind of lose steam now and not really promote it and not really even sell the book would be a huge loss. So I have to be really careful with trying to put too much energy towards my business right now that will take away from the book. So anyways, that's where we're at. What are your thoughts? What do you think we should do? Should we take it? Should we find a new place or should we find a roommate? Give me your thoughts.
I want to know who they're pricing these expensive ass apartments for. Who are they pricing it for? Because there's no way that I can't find a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom for lower than $2,300 that's actually decent. No roaches, no rats. We should not be in a state where minimum wage workers have to live with 3 to 4 people in order to afford to live. Everyone at minimum should be able to afford to live alone. Period.
Apartments are like phone companies. They tell you, hey, your new contract is up. We're going to increase. You tell them, well, I'm going to leave. And they'll be like, well, hold on. Let me bring the price down. Because that's exactly what just happened with my apartment. They called me talking about, hey, just a courtesy call. Your lease is up soon. So we want to let you know about renewal and a rent increase. of $150. And I say, what's improving? My apartment's not changing. Nothing's getting better within the apartment. Y'all aren't upgrading any of my features. So why would it increase $150? She said, hold on. She makes a call. She says, if you sign today, we will only increase it by $50. And if you come to our giveaway, we might give $100 off. We have a brand new TV. Please. Also, this is the same apartment that the handles on my refrigerator broke. And the leasing office talking about, yeah, it's going to be $70 to get that replaced. Where does it say that? Where does it say that I have to pay for that? So, you want me to stay? You can get me a new refrigerator. You can bring that price down. I'm fine. I'm kind of fine with the $50. That's $600 more for a 12-month lease. Crazy. But it's like, girl, you call me with 2 hours before you close talking about if you sign today, then it'll only be $50. Obviously, you bitches have some fucking control. So let's control the rent and keep it where the fuck it's at. That's what I think. I will be back in 2 hours to let y'all know if I found a cheaper apartment. Probably not. Usually they do this because it costs more to move out, do application fees, all this bullarchy. You know, I don't know. But I'll be back in like 2 hours to let y'all know if I find something cheaper. Probably won't. But I will let y'all know.
My rent was $1,700 a month for a 1-bedroom. And then I got a notice that it was going up to $2,200. So I said, peace, see ya, I'm not doing this. And then I get a call that's like, oh, was that price the problem? Like, we can fix that. And I'm like, were you playing chicken with my rent? Why would you? Peace, done.
I'll put my 60-day notice in this raggedy ass apartment because my rent went from $1,300 to $1,500. They're charging me $1,628 this month. I'll put my 60-day notice in. I'm not staying here. So they mad. And their policy is that you only have to pay your last month's of rent. Why are they charging me $2,600 to move out? I'm still moving out. I don't know where they're gonna get the money from. They gonna figure it out, but gotta get the fuck out of here.
Down really bad, and then someone comes along and they're like, that's what my leasing office did today. My leasing office chose violence. I just got my lease renewal for next year. I live in Seaport in Boston, which is probably one of the nicest areas in Boston. I understand that. I live in a high-rise. Yes, it's a luxury building, but it doesn't justify what they're asking for, in my opinion. I moved in 2021. It was $2,600. Still asinine. Ridiculous to pay that much amount of money for this tiny-ass little studio apartment. 450 square feet. Okay. Next year that I met all my friends, they're all in the same building. I'm like, okay, $2,900. That's what they raised it to. I was like, I can do this. I'm going to start dog sitting. So that's what I did. And I did it. I paid for it. Was I pretty house poor? Yeah. But I was meeting a ton of people and I was having the time of my life. I've had the time of my life in this building. The next year rolls around, $3,100. I'm like, I feel like a massive moron if I pay this, but my friends are here. I'm going to keep doing it. Really, really stupid decision to do that. Anyways, they just brought me my new lease. They want $3,444 a month for my 450 square foot studio. Anyways, they just brought me my new lease. They want $3,444 a month for my 450 square foot studio. I did a quick little girl math on this one, and that means that I would basically be paying to stay in a $120 a night hotel every single night for the next year. I love Boston, but it's not New York. Like, this is insane. I just got done crying to my parents all week about how lost I am. When you're just down really bad and then someone comes along and they're like, that's what my leasing office did today. My leasing office chose violence. I just got my lease renewal for next year. I live in Seaport in Boston, which is probably one of the nicest areas in Boston. I understand that. I live in a high-rise. Yes, it's a luxury building, but it doesn't justify what they're asking for, in my opinion. I moved in 2021. It was $2,600. Still asinine. Ridiculous to pay that much amount of money for this tiny-ass little studio apartment. 450 square feet. Okay.
Next year that I met all my friends, they're all in the same building. I'm like, okay, $2,900, that's what they raised it to. I was like, I can do this. I'm going to start dog sitting. So that's what I did. And I did it. I paid for it. Was I pretty house poor? Yeah. But I was meeting a ton of people and I was having the time of my life. I've had the time of my life in this building. The next year rolls around, $3,100. I'm like, I feel like a massive moron if I pay this, but my friends are here. I'm going to keep doing it. Really, really stupid decision to do that. Anyways, they just brought me my new lease. They want $3,444 a month for my 450 square foot studio. I did a quick little girl math on this one, and that means that I would basically be paying to stay in a $120 a night hotel every single night for the next year. I love Boston, but it's not New York. Like, this is insane. I just got done crying to my parents all week about how lost I am. I don't know what to do with my life. I know exactly what I want in life, but I'm having a really hard time like figuring out how to get there. I don't know if I need to stay in Boston, move. I just can't do it anymore. I don't know what my next move is. I'm at this crossroads basically in my life where I'm like, do I move home and really try to help build out my parents' company that my brother works for? And it's like, it would be incredible to be back with them. Do I move to New York and try to get a job with a big brand? Do I move to Chicago or Charleston or Austin, much more affordable cities where I can afford to actually take a stab at still owning my own business and giving that a try? Boston's just cooking me. The darkness for 4 months of the year, but at the same time, I've never been more in love with a city in my life. Like, it's incredible. The summers make me never want to leave. Just at such a weird position in my life. I know I'm always so positive, but damn, 28's a weird age. And also the fact there's no jobs that will pay enough for like 28-year-olds to go live alone. Like, anyways, happy weekend.
I'ma just say this because ain't nobody else gonna say it. Black parents are the only people who will manipulate you on all the reasons as to why you need to live at home to save money, just to come back 2 months later and start charging you half the rent. Then when you disagree, now you broke, ungrateful, disrespectful, and you will never become anything in life because you don't listen.